I smile an apologetic thank you and glance back at my phone. My two best friends' faces take up the entire screen. Then, on the upper corner, there is me, more frowny than usual, well justified, more plastic than usual. Is that even possible? More ginger than usual. Must be the filter, right? There is a total fair take. Mara, Sadie says with a puzzled expression, and I encourage you to submit your very valid complaints to Madame Merriam Webster or whoever is in charge of these matters. But I literally only ask you how the funeral went. Yes, Mara, how had funeral go? The quality on Hannah's end of the call is pitiful, but that's business as usual. This, I suppose, is what happens when you meet your best friends in grade school. One minute you are happy as a calm, clutching your skinny brand new engineering diploma, giggling your way through a 50 round of midday soar. The next year's in tears because you are all going separate ways. FaceTime becomes as necessary as oxygen. There are zero neon green cocktails in sight. Your slightly deranged monologues don't happen in the privacy of the apartment you share, but in the semi public backseat of an Uber. While you are on your way to have a very weird conversation. See, that's the thing I hate the most about adulting. At some point, one has to start doing it. Sadie is designing fancy eco sustainable buildings in New York City. Hannah is freezing her butt off at some Arctic research station NASA put up in Norway. And as for me, I am here moving to DC to start my dream job. Scientist at the Environmental Protection Agency. On paper, I should be over the moon, but paper burns so fast as houses on fire. Helena's funeral was interesting. I leaned back against the seat. I guess that's the upside of knowing that you are about to die. You get to bully people a bit. Tell them that if they don't play Karma Chameleon while lowering your casket, your ghost will haunt their progeny for generations. I'm just glad you guys were able to be here with her in the last few days, Sadie says. I smiled wistfully. She was the worst till the very end. She cheated in our last chess game. As if she wouldn't have beaten me anyway. I miss her. An inordinate amount. Helena Harding, my PhD advisor and mentor for the past 8 years, was family in a way my cool, distant blood relatives never cared to be. But she was also elderly in a lot of pain, and as she liked to put it, eager to move on to bigger projects. It was so lovely of her to leave you her DC house, Hannah says. She must have moved to a better resort because I can actually make out her words. Now you will have a place to be no matter what. It's true. It's all true. And I am immensely grateful Helena's gift as generous as it was unexpected. Easily the kindest thing anyone has ever done for me. But the reading of the will was a week ago, and there is something I haven't had a chance to tell my friends. Something closely related to House on Fire about that. Oh, two sets of bros for what happened? It's complicated. I love complicated, Sadie says. Is it also dramatic? Let me go get tissues. Not sure yet. I take a satisfying breath. The house Helena left me, as it turns out, she didn't really own it. What Sadie aborts the tissue mission to frown at me. Well, she did own it, but only a little, only half. And who owns the other half? Trust Hannah to zoom in on the crux of the problem. Originally, Helena's brother, who died and left it to his kids. Then the youngest son brought out the others, and now he is the sole owner. Well, with me. I clear my throat. His name is Liam Harding. He is a lawyer in his early 30s and he currently lives in the house alone. Sadie's eyes widen. Holly said, did Helena know? I have no clue. You had assumed, but